could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Yeah, and times are changing everywhere. Do we dream and do we dare? It's up to you, the door is open wide. Feel the rhythm of today, learn the part and join the play. The world is here, let's take it for a ride. You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted, shoot the moon and reach for Mars. You know you could. Larger, larger than, bigger, bigger than, living hopes and dreams. Every boy and girl, higher, higher than, brighter, brighter than, all you wanted. You know, you could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can have all you ever wanted. You know you could.
Good morning and welcome back to the channel Grand Colombia, and welcome to another Coffee Time Live from Armenia, Colombia. And okay, so weather's awesome. It's been great. Right now it's about 75 degrees, and we'll probably have a high of about 78, maybe a low of 64. I know you hear that every week, but you know, that's how it is. And Colombian peso still hovering around that 39 something mark, which is good. So that's cool. As far as the weather goes, it was one of the headlines. Let's see, we got Ready the Umbrella. Colombia entered the first rainy season. Well, technically it starts in April, but we're seeing less of the El Nino and more of normal weather. And normal weather means it usually doesn't rain during the day unless it's later in the afternoon. Last night it rained somewhere around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And that's perfect. Get lots of rain and sleep through it. And let's see, we've got, let's see. Here we go. Lousy picture, lousy color, but you can see it's pretty overcast and it's not raining, but it's, you know, it's getting over it. It's the way we like it, actually. All right, let's, where's that button? There's the button. Okay. Let's see, we've got some chats here. Juka, thank you very much. Jerry, thank you very much. It's all really getting some good use this week. I don't know if I'll talk about it today, but there's a lot going on. I was busy as hell this past week. I'll be busy as hell this week. Juka, greetings from Finland. Now, I want to say there's a little town here called Finlandia, and everybody calls it Finlandia. It's not. It's Finlandia. It's your tip for the day. Rob, good morning from Fort Lauderdale. 432 days. You poor SOB. I don't know what to say about that. Mr. Michael Myers, good morning from Los Angeles. Good morning. AKA Ben Lake, good morning from the northern edge of Barrio Oro Negro. Let's see. Sebastian, greetings from Pijao. What are you doing down there? Mr. Sebastian, thank you so much. He brought me a treasured item from the U.S. William, good morning, folks. How you doing, Mr. William? Turtle, an albacore tuna sandwich in Coren? What could be better? I could think of a lot of things better, but that's not bad. Jimmy, greetings. How you doing? Oh, Lord, not going. Okay, didn't know what that was. Yeah, couldn't be better. Now we're talking. Mike survived 2 months in Asia. Awesome. Okay, let's see. See a couple new people. Welcome to the channel. And today I don't have a specific topic, but I got a number of things to talk about. First thing I'm going to talk about is the coffee meeting this week. It was in a new location. The location was pretty good, but it was a bit noisy. It's wide open. It's awesome if you're going to have lunch afterwards because it's like a food court kind of thing. But we're going to change it up for next week. And I want to show you the address. It's in the Facebook page, Adventure in Gran Colombia. But let me show you. This is where we're going to go this Wednesday. That's right, we're going to Anlu, and noise won't be a problem. It's kind of tucked back in the buildings. Let me show you. If you're here, you know where I'm talking about. If you go to the entrance for Parque de la Vida, and then you turn around, you've got a Mexican restaurant, an AXM, that's a burger place. And the arrow is pointing between those buildings, and that's where I started that little clip that you just saw. You walk back through there, take your first right, and it's down on the end. And it's a very interesting place. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, I've got to confess to something. Let me go back to this map. Okay, if you look below that arrow, you'll see a silver car. And then next to it, on the other side of it, there's a motorcycle with somebody sitting there. Okay, where that silver car is, imagine that I'm backing a car into that spot. There was nobody sitting on the motorcycle. This isn't a current picture, but there were several motorcycles there on the other side of that car. So I'm backing into the spot, and I'm driving a car that's got a blacked out rear glass. So I've got the right mirror and left mirror. So I'm backing up, and I'm backing in slow, and I'm just chugging in there because it's kind of a tight fit. So I'm backing up, backing up, backing up. And then all of a sudden, three of us, we hear this. No, it was more of a, yeah, more like that. We hear that. And I go, holy crap. So, of course, I stop, and I look in the mirrors, and I don't see anything. And this was sad. And so I don't know, I'm not all the way back in. So, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to back up. But obviously, either somebody slapped the trunk or I hit something, but there wasn't anything there. When I pulled up, there was nothing there. So I don't know. I'm not sure. And one of the gentlemen that was with me, he jumps out of the car and he's going to take a look. And then in my mirror on the driver's side to my left, I'm looking in that mirror, I see a guy picking himself up off the ground. And he gets part way up and he falls again. I go, holy crap. Now, this was actually happening rather quickly. Get part way up and he falls again. Now, this is pretty serious, but let me tell you, I'm going to show you the conversation we had immediately after this episode. He was trying to get, it looked like Joe Biden trying to get on an airplane. He fell down, he tries to get up, he fell down, he tries to get up, he fell down. And I see that woman, you know, and she's just watching. I don't know, they're together.
I see the guy. I see and I think like, okay, he will walk, and a song like punch. It was like it's gonna be I see, and
the last time he got up after
he went down more than once.
Yeah, like 4 times. He was up, he was down, he was up, he was down.
And I think like he fell or he was rapping something.
I couldn't understand because he fell, but there was a curb. And so he would get up and he would trip on the curb and fall again. He would get up and he would trip on the curb. And I'm thinking, how could you do that? Well, he's old. He's just an old man. Then I see he's blind.
Exactly. Then I see like...
So needless to say, we're all going to hell. The man was fine. He wasn't hurt at all. But I don't know. I was pretty somber. But some people thought it was hilarious. I won't mention any names. Marley. Okay. So, Judy, good morning. Good morning, Judy. Mr. Emil, good morning. He was at the coffee meeting. Pretty cool place. Just a little noisy if we're going to sit around and talk. About, I think 11 people showed up. It was pretty good showing. All right, let's see. Okay, next. All right, Turtle, who may or may not still be on. I put a post up about his foot. He broke his foot like in a bunch of places, and he's having some problems getting around, and so I put a post up about it. And I said, if anybody wants to kind of, he's trying to pick up a scooter for his foot. If anybody wants to contribute to that, here's his information. And I guess a couple people did, but his new family in Socorro, the gentleman is named Freddie, the father, took him out to a farm. I think it's Freddie's farm. I may not get all the details right, but he took him out to a farm. And on the farm, he had, no, there's a family that stays there as caretakers. And this family has this little daughter. And I say little because she's not growing. I'm not sure what age she is, but she's a tiny little thing. And she's got some serious medical problems. She can't eat. So she's got a thing in her stomach, and they attach something, and they have to feed her this liquid diet. Well, while he was there and he was meeting these people and looking at the farm, he starts getting nosy and he's asking questions about it. And it turns out that the family, it's not a cheap item, and the family was kind of watering it down to make it last so she wouldn't go a day or two, a month without eating. And so Turtle took the money that had been sent to him for a scooter, and well, let me show you the picture of the girl. And apparently she never smiles. She's in pain all the time. I'm not sure all the details. And so he took the money that was sent to him, and he bought a few cases of this Pediasure. It's not normal Pediasure, it's clinical. It's something special in particular for this kind of situation. You can actually live off of this stuff, which is what she has to do. So, not sure what to say. When I was in Ecuador, I got caught up in a number of things like this. Some of you remember. And, you know, on one hand, you have this pressing need to do something, but on the other hand, it's very frustrating because honestly, it never ends. And selfish me, when I came to Colombia, I've steered clear of some of that sort of thing. Maybe a one-on-one here and there. It's hard to live down in South America when you see, I mean, it's a lot of people live great lives here. Middle class is the largest group, and that's why you see all the cars, and that's why they keep building malls with, you know, expensive stores, because there's people for it. But you got a percentage that, you know, we're up to about 30% after COVID that are very poor. And you've got about, I forget the actual numbers, but somewhere just shy of 10% that are critically poor, abject poor, like don't eat every day necessarily. There's categories for this. And it's hard to, and they don't hide it in South America. So, well, they did in Cuenca, Ecuador, but here it's not hidden at all. You'll see them on the streets. And it's hard to see that and not want to do something, even if you're on a Social Security pension and maybe you don't have a ton of money living the lifestyle that you're living, which is just average, but you just feel compelled to do something. And, you know, he's been bitten by the bug. This isn't the first thing. He's given some personal items in some situations, but this one's hard to argue. Okay, let's get to some news, are we? Are we there? I covered the blind person that Marley was laughing at. Oh, who is Marley? Well, Marley and her father, Robert, they are the people that are setting up the export coffee business, and they're transitioning from doing it as a bulk commercial thing to they're going to we've had a lot of conversations, and I'm happy to see they're going to do this. They're going to focus on a lot of these small generational farms here in Quindío that aren't big commercial operations. We don't really have those. And some of the coffees here are fantastic. Last year, 2023, in blind taste session, I have these international coffee tastings, and they have different categories, but then they have an overall category. The overall category for the entire world was right here in Quindío, in Buena Vista, as a matter of fact. And that's not unusual. In the top 10, there's either 4 or 5 coffee internationally. There's 4 or 5 coffees from Quindío represented. That's including Hawaii, including Africa. That's everywhere. So Quindío has a particularly good standing. But the curious thing is, if you're in the United States, you can't get your hands on this coffee unless you fly here and pick it up. And I suggested to him, rather than do the commercial thing where everybody and their brother is kind of doing that, some of these coffees are very unique and they're pretty fantastic. Maybe you could do that. And so that's what they're kind of retooling, and they're looking into that. I hope it works out. I hope they're doing that. I will be promoting them if they're doing that. It will also allow the farmers here in Quindío to get probably somewhere around double the price they're getting. They'll take their coffee, and some of them will bag it up themselves just to sell in local stores. It's difficult and expensive to get an export license. So they'll do that with some, and then the rest of it, they just take it to one of the commercial operations and sell it for, peanuts on the dollar. they struggle to stay alive. And all the farms here in Condillo, they're all generational family, small business kind of thing. And so that would be awesome too. So that's who Bob and Marley, yes, Bob and Marley, that's who they are. And they were visiting me. They stayed here and they were visiting from Monday to Wednesday because they're planning on actually moving from Ibagué, where they currently live, to Armenia. And that'll be awesome. So that's who's laughing on that video. All right. I know it sounds like it was cruel, but it was perfectly fine. And after the fact, it was pretty funny. And I don't know that he actually, well, enough of that. All right. So let's get to some news headlines here. Finlandia, some of you know this tower, you might recognize it. Nighttime reopening the doors to the eco park, open again with illuminated routes. They have put a ton of money. Some was sent by the national government. Most of it was by the Finlandia mayor, allocated some of their budget. And forget the amount. I think it was in dollars, somewhere around $100,000. They had to rebuild this. This is made out of wood, and a lot of the wood was rotted. The roof was leaking. And so they've replaced a lot of the wood struts. They've replaced the roof. And the paths, like you walk out of the town, you walk up the hill, and then you get to this thing. They put lights along the pathways to illuminate it. So that's pretty cool. Okay, next headline. And I'll try to put this in context because you might go, whoa. All right. New blow to drug trafficking. Assets of criminal organizations were occupied in Condillo. What you have is a government seizure. Now, we all know that there's criminals in Colombia. We all know there's criminals in wherever you're from. And criminals here do things similar to everywhere else. They get all this money. What do you do with all this money? Well, one thing you can do is launder it and then invest it in real estate. And so they've been investing in it around Colombia. Quimbaya, which is a town here in Condillo, there was a lot of property for sale out there, and they came in and they bought some of that. Plus, right here in Armenia, there were some buildings commercial buildings that they had bought. Well, the government, as you know, from some of the stories I've been telling you recently, like the woman who moved into Montenegro to try to set up a little criminal ring, 2 or 3 days later, the neighbors blew her in, and they caught her and arrested her, and she's sitting in jail. Well, the government has been on this here in Condillo especially. They watch these things. They check sales. They figured out all the properties that were anyway attached to known criminals. And in one day they went around, they seized it all. They got all the documentation. They had people at the properties, maybe hoping to catch some people, but they didn't catch them, but they got all the properties. So, I mean, it's a fantastic thing because they're not turning a blind eye. And whenever something kind of pops up its ugly head, they seem to be on it. So that's very cool. What do we have here? Well, let me look at it. Maybe I can tell. Here's the headline. Oh, yeah. Armenia ranked 11th in the unemployment rate at the national level and second in the coffee region. So I think it's 23 or 26 cities of any size, not towns. Armenia has ranked 11th. So it's 11th highest in unemployment out of 20 some cities. So it's somewhere around midpoint. Let me get to the, whoops, no, Here we go. According to the latest report provided by the National Administration Department of Statistics, DANE, that's also a bad joke. I'll spare you. For the moving quarter, November 2023 to January 2024, the unemployment figure in Armenia was ranked 11th nationally at 11.7% among 23 cities. And the average being 10.6, so it's just below the average. And so we've got here, Manizales is at 10%. Well, let me run down through this. So for up to 2024, Armenia is 11.7 as it says, but the year prior to that, ending January 23, it was 13.4, so it's fallen a couple percentage. It's still high. Pre-COVID, it was almost half this. Ibagué, in 2023, it was 17.7, and 24, it's 14. So that's taken a pretty good jump. It's still one of the higher ones. Pereira, they've kind of gone backwards. In 23, it was 10.7, and January 24, the year up to 12.6. So it's jumped a little bit. And Manizales, it's actually a little bit below the national average, no surprise. In 23, it was 9.7, and in 24, it's 10, so 0.3% up. Statistically, you know, flip a coin. So people ask that, so there you go. I found that headline. And Mike, Mr. Jarvis, how you doing? Good to see you joined us. Okay. This one's pretty cool too here. We have railways lines spread all over Colombia, and they, just like in the US, they kind of fell out of favor, fell into ruin. But they're reinvigorating, they're rebuilding rail lines. And the rail lines that they're rebuilding are from Buenaventura, which is a port city, Cali, which is southeast of Buenaventura, major city, and Quindío. It's going to be in La Tabaida. There's a station here, but they're not doing it to here. They're doing it to La Tabaida. So the idea is that all the shipping that currently goes by truck from Buenaventura to Cali to Quindío and then goes to Bogota, they're going to do that part of it by rail, and then they'll load it on trucks and take it from here to Bogota. So it's a good thing. It means jobs, and so that's always a good thing. And next, a couple years ago, I met somebody. She's a college student, not from this area. She lives between Cali and Popayan, and we've kept in touch on and off quite a bit recently. She talked to the university that she works in. It's a research university, and told them about this channel, and then told them about the new coffee project. And they were very interested, and I don't know what it means, but possibly they want to get involved in it some way. I put together a couple clips of her, and the last clip is this coffee thing that they're doing. It's very quick. Her bee outfit reminds me of Ghostbusters, but You meet some interesting people in Colombia, that's for sure. I want to tell you something about her. She just, she's barely over the 20 threshold. I could show you more clips. She bought an apartment, run down, gutted out, pays a little bit. She works. She also has a farm, which she bought, and she also university full time. So, she's busy 24/7. And so she bought this place. It's, the whole area is just kind of run, it's your typical stuff. But she's putting every penny she's got into creating this. It looks like a 2-bedroom. It's actually pretty spacious. It could be real nice. So it'll have a balcony in the front, and it's very close to her farm. And she bought a farm, and she's always working there. She sends me clips where she's covered in mud, where one time she was building steps. She wears those big knee-high rubber boots, She wears farmer hats, farmer clothes, and she'll be covered in mud. And she, grows plants. She's got animals. She's got a bunch of chickens and all kinds of stuff going on. And I keep in touch mostly because I have this huge admiration. She's such a workaholic. She reminds me of me because I was always like that. I always had a lot of things going on. Let me show you this is the map. That's where she lives. It's very close to an area with FARC. And at times it can be dangerous. But it's on the main road. But once you get off that main road, sometimes it could be potentially dangerous. Not for her, not for her family. They don't mess with the people there. But, if you were to go visit there, you never know. You want to be careful. But I've been invited to go see what's going on. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing with coffee. They're experimenting with all kinds of different types of Arabica beans. And she was excited about one. And that one in the picture you saw, the bean was actually a red bean, which normally they're kind of white or yellow. And this red bean has an exaggerated red fruit flavor to it. And they're all excited about it. I don't know. I've been invited to visit. Bring my camera, see what's going on, see what they're doing. In which case, I would also visit her farm. I've never seen it. She's, as you saw, she's learned beekeeping. She said that they just did their first harvesting, and she harvested 32 kilos of honey. That seems like a lot to me. She'll hire local people to come and work on her farm as she needs it. It's not like they're there all the time. So it's quite a story, and I wanted to share it with you because we look at where we come from, and there's always conversation about what's going to happen with the next generation. Is it millennial, Gen X, whatever, Gen Z? They don't know the work ethic. They don't get this. They don't get that. And here in Colombia, there's a lot of truth to that also. Here in Armenia, it's an issue. All around Colombia, it's an issue. It seems that people are just kind of, I don't know, lazy. But the people that work their tail off. And this is one at a young age. It's her and her mother living pretty much as poor as you can live, but working your tail off and putting every last peso into building this little empire that she's got going, and working in conjunction with the university. Right now, she's working real hard to obtain a 100% paid for. She's out of high school, she got a 50% tuition covered. So she's got to pay on the tuition. She's got to, you know, she works the farm and has to pay for the land. She's paying for this apartment thing, got to pay for food for her and her mother. You know, she tried doing some videos for a while. That's actually how we met, you would say. But I don't know. You got to have a lot of respect for it. Turtle, the college student, was she with her friend, the two college students you met on a bus trip? It was when you were living in Manizales. Nope, that was something else. Very different. No, this is a very, very conservative 1800s Colombia type of person. Okay. Do we have any questions? I think I've covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover today. I wanted to give some time to point out what she's doing in her little corner of the world. And I wish we could say that that's happening everywhere. Unfortunately, it's not. Those kind of people are few and far between. I remember when I was growing up, I left home at 15, you know the story. And, you know, I just worked my tail off. But I looked around. It was easy to succeed because you look around and other people didn't do that. And so if that's how you operate, you stand out just by virtue of being hardworking. You know, you get the promotions, you get the deals, you get all of those things just because you stand out for being such a hard worker. And, you know, I wish the best for her. I will try to arrange to get there, but it'll entail I got to go for at least an overnight. That means a hotel room, car rentals are getting up there. So it's something, you know, maybe in a few months I can set that aside. Rob Gig, not going to mention the new toy you got this week. Well, I didn't know if I should bring it up yet, but this was actually for the coffee channel, and I received a contribution. And some of you might know what that is. And all of you probably know I've had a lot of camera issues recently. And my old original Osmo Pocket, let's see, comes out. My original Osmo Pocket is has seen better days, some real issues with it. It's practically unusable. Well, in this comes this. It has a widescreen lens that comes with it because this is a creator kit. And this is the original, and this is the new one. And if you look on YouTube about this, pretty much everybody who is into photography, professionals, they're raving about this thing. You flip a little screen and it turns on right away. This had this little tiny screen you could barely make out. This actually works pretty good. It's a touch screen. It's very adjustable. Turn it off. It's got a gimbal, so there's no electronic cropping. It always gives you a true picture. It's pretty amazing, and it comes with a battery. Battery inside lasts about 2 hours at 14K. This battery will plug in and recharge this one to 80% in about 15 minutes. It's a very fast charging system. And it comes with a little tripod. You can screw into here. And it's got, sorry you asked, Rob, right? Yeah, let's see. See, he did ask. It's got this little thing that goes on there because it's a little short, so you can opt to put that little extension on. And it comes with a little Bluetooth lapel mic. This particular brand, they've been selling these for a long time. This one is unique to this. There's no connection required. Original setup. After that, no connection required. You turn this on, it's automatically here. But one of the beauties is this has 3 microphones. This continues to record the sound, and this records the sound. So you actually get 2 lines of sound, one from the camera, one from here. So if you have problems with this, or if you have problems with this, you've got 2 chances to get it corrected. So that's pretty awesome. It's the Osmo Pocket 3. And this is a creator version. In the United States, you can buy the creator version for about $660 some. It came with some extras. He bought a couple very large memory card, SD cards, video style. They're quite expensive, the ones he sent. And I've never gotten that large because of the cost. And so I got a couple because I do go through those. And so I've got a couple. So that's awesome. And of course, I can use it for anything, but it will get a lot of use this coming week because I'm doing a lot of the coffee channel stuff this week. I'm behind because I got sick, as you know, but I'm catching up. Probably by the end of this week, I'll have the intro video done where I explain what the channel is going to be about, what we're going to do, what the goals are, what the plans are. So there'll be that. So when you go to the channel on YouTube, that will kick up and it'll be there. And then the first video will be uploaded, should be by the end of the week, unless some disaster happens, but it won't be through lack of having a camera. So that's pretty amazing. So Mr. Doesn't want his name known, if you happen to be watching, thank you so much. Okay. All right, Robert. Mr. Stir Up Trouble. That was Mike Carroll. What model? Okay, so I answered that. We have any other questions? I know kind of short today. I've been working my tail off in the coffee thing, so I just I put together today what I could do in about 4 hours. Let's see. Are new expats still allowed to obtain Sura? If so, is the plan the same quality of coverage as current residents are able to purchase? You know, that's a great question, because at the coffee meeting, I ran into it head on, and I thought about making this a topic, but I don't like to go into a lot of details on certain things like that or taxes. But there's so much crap information, particularly on Facebook. People either out of ignorance or they just want to cause problems and they just outright lie. There was a lawyer outfit out of Medellin that I was able to trace back this some months ago, where they had they put out a statement making the new changes, which were last year, sound really difficult, and they were so busy trying to do that they misspoke, and people took it as real. First, yes, you can have the EPS. It's exactly the same. It can be Sura, it could be Sanitas. You got your choice of a bunch of them. Depending on where you are, the best in the country is either Sura or Sanitas, and whichever one, the other one will be right behind it. But I believe, like Ibage, I don't think they actually have Sura there. They use Sanitas, or if they do, it's small and inconvenient. I don't know. Sanitas seems to be the thing for Ibage. Here we have everything equally. So I have Sura, but it's all under the EPS. And yes, you can absolutely get it. It'll cost you $30-some a month for that full coverage. It has some dental. It's got a bunch of things. It's like an HMO. Your co-pays on medicine work out to about $1 or less, 50 cents. So yes, this idea that the change came and now they don't allow foreigners to have it's just nonsense. There's no basis for it whatsoever. And what came up at the coffee meeting was one gentleman said, hey, so-and-so said that you now, to get your first visa, you've got to have 1 year of traveler's insurance, and it's like $1,500. And I said, well, where did you hear that? I said, well, I heard it from so-and-so, but he heard it from the visa agent. I said, well, that's not true. I know. It's, as a matter of fact, that person told me something similar, but a little different. And I actually had written to the visa agent like a month or two prior and got the answer back. Not have anything to do with it. The law is the law, and this is what it is. And you want to have, 2 to 3 months of travel insurance, long enough to get your visa and your cedula, and then sign up for the EPS. And then once you have that, you're home free. And then next time around, that's all you need to have. You don't have to have months or you don't have to have years of traveler's insurance. And yeah, you absolutely can have it, and it is the same coverage, the very same insurance. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, you see it all over Facebook, and people just, they read it, they think it's true, and then they turn around and repeat it. And now somebody's, wow, I saw it like 5 different times. It must be true. And then more people believe it. It's crazy. And it's all nonsense. Go to the source. And I hesitate on some things like taxes because so much variation. So it's not a particular thing. All right, let's see. Mike, I know a U.S. citizen. You're probably talking about the same guy, and he told you that, and I just confronted him on this, and it turns out what he was talking about was something completely different. So I hear what you're saying. You and I should talk on this, because what he said, what it boiled down to is it wasn't about EPS insurance. It was about the add-ons that you could get, and he wasn't able to get the add-ons. Well, that has nothing to do with what he even thought it was. You can't get the add-ons once you're over 60 years old. There are some exceptions. Sometimes you get it to 62, 65. They're rare, but the line in the sand is basically 60. So once you hit that age, you can no longer get the add-ons. Now, you don't really need them because the EPS is good enough. And that's what he was talking about. And I'm pretty sure that's who you're talking about, because you're kind of saying what he said, and it just wasn't true. And as far as the 1 year travel insurance, he decided to do that because he misunderstood what was going on. It wasn't the case of that's what he actually had to do. And I emailed her when I first heard this about 2 months ago. And I'll email again. I'll tell you what, shoot me off a message. Tell me who it is, so that, don't do it here, but tell me who it is in WhatsApp, because I think that's what it's the same thing. And I actually confronted him. Why are you telling people this? And then he explained the situation. He was confused, and he's been telling something that isn't what he actually went through, because he was confused about it. He didn't even realize that the add-ons they're not even required. The EPS he certainly can get. So yeah, shoot me a message and we'll compare notes. And we'll get to the bottom of this. But this is how this stuff kind of run rampant because I know people that just went through Lou's last month. I knew 2 people that just went through her last month, and none of this stuff came up. So it's not coming from her. Okay. Anything else? Let's see. Yeah, I just got a message. Interesting. I don't know enough. Maybe I'll tell you about it next week, about coffee. All right. Anything else? Are we done? Please, Mike, send me that name. Let's get to the bottom of it. Because if there's anything like that, I'll make a correction and certainly talk about it next week. But you know, like I say, I immediately wrote to her and quizzed her on this, and then afterwards, there were a couple people that went through the process, and it was just like what you did and what I did. There was no year requirement for travelers insurance, and there was no problem for the EPS. So, all right, I guess that's it. Juka, Jerry, as always, thank you very much. This, lifesaver, and I have people on the regular that that contribute to the channel that keep it going. It's certainly appreciated, and that's why we're still here. All right. So no more questions. Hate to leave on a cliffhanger, but we'll explain it all next week once we sort it out. Ciao.